Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Victory Brewing Company, and they're out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, and this is their Dark Thunder Storm King, and this is a part of their small batch series. So they're calling this one Imperial Stout with coconut and coffee, comes in at 9.1% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is just under 2.5 months old, so this is one of the newest releases from Victory, and you don't see too many variants on their Storm King Imperial Stout. On the side here, it says a downpour of toasted coconut and coffee notes meets the dense dark chocolate flavors of Storm King to deliver an indulgent twist on this beloved Imperial Stout. Let the thunder roll. For malt, they're using Pilsner, Vienna, roasted barley, and black prince, and then hops, Centennial, Cascade, and Chinook. They also say Imperial Stout with natural flavors. Yeah, anyway, small batch series, and I didn't even know they released this one. I was actually, and this brings me to price and availability, which we usually do at the end, and we will, but let me just say I actually grabbed this one in a Wegmans Mix 6 location, like the area where you can get the Mix 6ers for like $12.99, and I grabbed this one like sometime in like, I think it was like early November or something. I had no idea they released this beer, so anyway, I'm looking forward to this one. Storm King to me always comes off as like an Imperial Black IPA as opposed to, just an Imperial Stout or American Imperial Stout. It has such a huge hop character, fresh, that it's always interesting. I've had that one aged before, definitely, I think turns into a better beer. But if you want like a Black IPA that's really good, Storm King, even though it's not. Anyway, looks beautiful. It didn't pour out pitch black, like a deep dark brown. On camera, it's gonna look pitch black. Has about a finger of this straight on brown, super creamy looking head to it. Some decent alcohol legs on the side of the glass. Yeah, looks like a beautiful Imperial Stout. Let's get a nose. So there's still some hop character here, which it's only 2.5 months old, but I thought like the coconut and the coffee would kind of push the hop characters a little bit to the wayside, slightly. Yeah, there's a lot of chocolate. They say dark chocolate. Yeah, there's like, it's more like a 40-50% cacao bar than like straight on like a Hershey's dark chocolate. It has like very slight remnants of something sweet chocolate-wise. But there's big coffee roast mixing in with the roasted malt. A touch of toasted coconut. Not huge, definitely there though. Some dark fruits like plums, raisins, cherry, like a black cherry. Little bit of like a molasses tinge to this one is anise. That's another one. Like the black licorice into like an anise. Or anise. I like to say anise. It's anise. You say it however you want. Caramel. Pecans. Whatever. The hop character that is here has this like earthy, almost... Yeah, just a big earthiness. There's like a little bit maybe of like a floral character. Touch of pininess. Yeah, so this honestly smells like Storm King, but with like touches of coconut and a decent kick of coffee, which probably what they're going for, honestly, based on what they've described on the side of the can. Smells pretty good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, big warming into the chest. Oh, that's a fun beer. Ooh, I'm just, wow. The coconut hit me twice. Hit me at the front of the palate and the back of the palate. And I don't typically get that. Like, I don't get characteristics that like come in for a first blast and then like leave and come back. And the coconut did that to me. And it's not like substantial, but it's definitely noticeable when you know the base of this is Storm King. And it's also with coffee and you know the notes that come from Storm King. Like, the coconut is definitely an outlier that you kind of, it's way more noticeable than, if you weren't familiar with this beer. Buying this was like lower side of full. I think it's thicker and bigger and more viscous than I remember Storm King. I need to review Storm King. I just don't see it a lot. Certainly not to buy a single can or bottle of it. But I remember, again, it was more like an Imperial Black IPA every time I had it. I like a little bit with, some age on it. But next time I find a relatively fresh can/bottle of it, I'm going to grab it. But anyway, yeah, this is like lower side of full, so it might be a bit thin for some, Paul over at PA Breweries, but I think it's appropriate for a 9.1% Imperial Stout. Body, decent, mild to moderate carbonation, but it's just nice smooth, creamy kind of feeling on the back of the palate as you swallow it. Kind of little like light creamy sensation with real big smoothness. Like it's not harsh on the palate. Taste right at the tip of the tongue, coconut, toasted coconut for sure. But it dives underneath the palate, or it just kind of like gets lost for a second as there are waves of roasted malt. There's roasted malt, there's roasted coffee, a little bit of molasses, caramel, toffee, touch of dark fruit, like a complex first half of the palate right after that coconut. Maybe even like a brown bread, like a deep brown bread, almost like a burnt brown bread. I mean, that sounds kind of bad, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it has more of a roasted kind of quality to it, but it has a bready feel. As it continues on through the palate, more chocolate starts to express itself. I don't even think I mentioned chocolate for the palate, but it's like that baker's cocoa powder kind of chocolate. So not sweet really, just like a sensation of chocolate slash cocoa nib, something like that. And then that transitions into a decent hop character. This is not like overly hoppy, but it definitely has, I'd say like a resinous hop tone that's piney and earthy. And it's kind of lingering on the palate. This is semi-dry, but this has like a mild to moderate bitterness, more approaching moderate, which is, again, what Storm King is known for. Right as I swallowed again, though, the toasted coconut dives back onto the palate and is like, hey, remember me at the beginning? Well, I'm here at the end as well. And it just makes for a very cool, fun drinking experience. Is this like the best adjunct Imperial Stout I've ever had? No. Is this pretty fun? Yeah. Do I like it better than the Storm King? I don't want to really compare the two just because Storm King is its own beast. It's an American Imperial Stout. It's like a hoppy Imperial Stout, almost Russian Imperial Stout-esque. So to compare this, which is like an adjunct Imperial Stout, even though Storm King's the base, I don't think it's fair to compare them. I think this is a nice take on Storm King. I at least in my opinion, the body's a little bit bigger. I definitely get the coconut and coffee. But they're not overbearing. It's not too much of those two flavors. 9.1%, warming into the chest. No acidity on the palate, but you can feel it's a bigger beer. This is fucking really good. Pour the rest of my glass, and we'll try to formulate a rating here because, Storm King for me, I'm not going to sit here and BS you guys and be like, no, it's a classic. It's my favorite ever. It never was. Why? It's a little bit too hot forward for me fresh. Aged bottles of it were much better for me, but I'd always give like Storm King anywhere from like a 3.9 to like a 4.1. So typically like an average of a 4 out of 5. This is better rating wise, I think, because they kind of nailed what they're going for, at least in my opinion. But yeah, Dark Thunder Storm King, part of the small batch series from Victory. I have absolutely zero issues giving this beer a low 4.25. We'll go 4.2 out of 5. I think that's where this lands. This is really good. The fact I found it in a mixed sixer at Wegmans and paid like whatever, just over $2 for a can of it is insane. Because imagine 4 packs of this are probably at least $16. I would say 15, $16 for something like this. Maybe 20. I don't know. So price point, I don't really know because I got it in the mixed sixer. Availability, I don't really know. I saw this one in a mixed sixer. I have not seen this beer outside of that. So if you get Victory in your neck of the woods, did you see this over the past 2 months? Have you like seen it on the shelf? Did you see it in a mixed sixer like I did? Did you pick it up? And if you did, what did you think about it? Post in the comment section. Let me know. I would love to see a review of this from the aforementioned Paul over at PA Brew News if he can find it. Be curious to see what he thinks about this one in comparison to Storm King. I don't think he's reviewed it. I mean, I typically watch the vast majority of Paul's videos, so maybe it was on a day that I just didn't watch a video or two that he released. But if he's had this one, I need to go check out his review. But if anyone else, again, has had this one, let me know what you think about it. And what do you think about it in comparison to the base Storm King? Even though, like I said, it's not fair to really compare it. I think, as a whole, I probably would pick this one over Storm King more often than not. But I'm also a coconut fiend, so there's a little bias towards beers like this. But it's just really good, man. I didn't think it was going to work as well as it did. So 4.2 out of 5. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.